Happy Monday, guys. Welcome to PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. We've got 3 games to break down as best bets and props as well. Myself, Andrew McGinnis, Lawrence Presman, and Don Buster with me. You guys will see Carm, I believe, the next time we are on PuckTime. 3 games today. We're going to talk about Lightning, Panthers, Flyers, Penguins, Sabres, and the New York Islanders. Guys, do not forget, though, 2 early games today on tap in the NHL. We'll start things off with Prez. What's up, Prez? Good morning. How are you?
I'm great, Andrew. Had a great weekend. Won for my clients Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So all is good in the hood. I'm on a nice NHL run, 5-1 last 6, and I mean even better college basketball run. I've won 6 straight. So yeah, I'm feeling good. Doesn't that suck that I answered your question on how am I based on whether I won or lost games? My God, what has happened to my life? Yeah. So thank you.
You know what's
for
funny
asking.
is that when I first started doing stuff with WagerTalk, you used to say that to me, "How are you?" on the show on Mondays, and you'd ask like, "How was your weekend?" and I would actually tell you about my personal things I did, and I started to realize you didn't care about that. You were asking how my results were over the weekend. So that's just how it goes, I guess. That's how our life depends on our results, I guess, Prez. Unfortunately, our mood sometimes depends on the results. Buster, how are you today, man?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. You can always tell, and I'm sure everyone here on the panel's better half will say they know when you're winning and when you're losing. That's for sure. Because sometimes, even though you try to hide it from them and try to put on that good face, because you want to keep the two a little bit separate as much as possible, which is almost impossible. Yeah, it does show. That's for sure. And I understand Lawrence saying exactly that. How you doing? That's exactly what a gambler would say. That's all that seems to matter because it's every day, 365. You're thinking about it. You might have 2 or 3 days off, or you might take a week of holidays, but you're still thinking about it on holidays. You're still gambling. So I get it, Lawrence. I get it.
Well, I'm excited, guys. We've got a ton of games here on a Monday, which is not a usual thing in the NHL, of course, due to the holiday break. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump into it. Prez, Panthers versus Lightning, second of a back-to-back. Home and home between these two teams. Obviously not much travel, but of course the team that came out on top yesterday, the Florida Panthers. What's your take on this one? And do you have any type of handicap you look at when you have the same teams playing back-to-back nights?
Well, firstly, I want to shout out OJ Bruin. Finally made a live show. Welcome, my friend. We love having you here. Guys, please hit that like button. Would be greatly appreciated. Let's get into the handicapping this game, Andrew. So right off the bat, I want to make mention that if you're going to bet Tampa Bay at plus 125, please understand that this Tampa Bay team doesn't seem to be able to beat Florida. They've lost 2 in a row. They've lost 6 of 7, and they've lost 8 of 10. I don't know how there is possible value at plus 125, even plus 130, even plus 140, playing on a team that simply does not beat the opponent almost ever. So right off the bat, I'm not going to play Florida here at minus 150, but playing Tampa Bay is saying, I don't care about how these teams match up. I don't care about their history. I don't care about the fact that this has been going on for years and years. So tread carefully if you're playing the dog. What do I like, Andrew? I think under 6.5 is the way to go in this game. And I just want to make mention, and maybe you and Buster can wade in here. The Florida Panthers are a team last year that played to the under all year long. Although they've got great scoring and Bennett and Reinhart, Barkov, Kachuk, etc., this is a team that played lights out defense the entire season. Here they sit 20-14 to the over on the year. Is this a new look Florida Panthers team, or is this just 35 games where 20 of them went over and we're going to get a regression? I think the second, I think we're at a very high market price for the Florida Panthers totals. 6.5. Whenever that's on tap, I'm always looking to play under. 6.5 requires both teams to score 3 or one team to score 5. That's a big ask in any single game. So I'm looking at the under in this game, Andrew, and I understand. Like, you, you know, you look at these two teams and you think, man, there's so much scoring talent out there. How can these games go under? Yet they tend to go under. And especially on a back-to-back situation, I like the under as well. But I am curious, and I did not look. How do we take into account the fact that everybody's off for the next 3-4 days? Is that something that's worth looking at as well? So my take on this game is I would lean on the Florida Panthers, but it's too high a line at -150. I prefer the under.
All right, Prez looking towards the under here, and yeah, overall here, Buster, this Panthers team has had the number of the Lightning, but at the same time, they're definitely capable. They do have the players to do it and bounce back right away. As you mentioned, as Prez mentioned there, with the fact that these teams have a few days break, there's going to be, we always say, guys, that, hey, look, professional athletes, we know they're giving it their all, right? Everyone says they're giving it their all, but let's be honest. If we're going off a 100% scale, I would say these guys are giving it 75%, 80%. And then after they fire their coach, we see that 90, 95%. After a trade has happened, we see that extra after you lose. But so now if you're going before a break where you're going to have a bunch of time, are you not focused, or are you the most focused you've been because that break is coming up? What do you think, Buster? And the fact that it's a back-to-back as well, I think is pretty important.
Situation, all about, like you just said, whether they come in, off a 2-3 game losing streak and they want to kind of start the Christmas break with a high. It's all about situation to me. But Prez is right. There's no way I'm betting Tampa Bay here at all. Florida beat them yesterday in Tampa Bay, and now they're at home where, they're very good at home as well. And he's also mentioned how they've dominated the Bay team, including winning the playoffs last year. They beat them 4-1. And yesterday, the reason why Florida won, their special teams. They got a power play goal. They got a penalty kill goal. And statistically, they have the better power play and they have the better penalty kill. And now they're at home getting that last move, that last change. I think their advantage might be even stronger in that department today. Also, I think they have the advantage in net today as well because Knight played yesterday. So you'll see Bobrovsky. Anything I saw earlier, there was no decision on the goalies. And it's interesting because it is that break, guys. You might see teams who are playing a back-to-back play the same guy. It doesn't happen often. We saw it, Andrew, with our Montreal Canadiens, Montembeault playing back-to-back Friday and Saturday because that break's coming up so they can get some time off. Well, will Vasilevsky play for the Lightning? That's a question. I believe he will not. He has not played a back-to-back since December. 2 years ago, after the Christmas break, was the last time Vasilevsky played a back-to-back. So that tells me Florida is going to have Johansson in net, so that the advantage Tampa Bay will have him in net. So the advantage there also goes to Florida. As for the total, I can agree with Preds on the 6.5. Yesterday's game was lined at 6. So if you're taking that game under 6.5, you got some nice value there because, like I say, it was lined at 6. I'm not sure if it gets to 6 here. At 6.5, I personally don't want anything to do with it because of some of the stats that Prez has mentioned. And because these two teams now on a back-to-back, not sure how much defense they'll want to play going into that Christmas break. And maybe that's something else you can talk about during the handicap. How much defense do these guys want to go all out? Andrew, you mentioned it. I think it's situation, whether they play a lot stronger. But who knows? They might just go through the motions as well. So you never know. That's part of knowing the clubs or knowing the coaches, etc. So for me, I will take Florida here. Not sure if I want to play them at the 150, but that is the play, if you ask me. And having those 3 days off, I think Florida will want to show who's the boss again today.
I like it. I like it there, Buster. And, one thing that I've really noticed over the last, I would even say start of this year and into the end of last year, a theory that I had for a while is kind of beginning to go away. And that theory is when teams are playing back-to-back games against each other, the revenge angle, right? Or the total being different. Why can't the same team win back-to-back games against the same team, right? Why can't the total go under in back-to-back games against the same team? A lot of times it used to be, if the first game went under, the second game went over. If the away team won the first night, the away team wins the second night. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of these circumstances where the same team that wins the first one will win that second one again. And so it's real interesting to look at. You try and figure out the value you're going to get, if the price is worth it. But the play for me, guys, in this one, I'm going to jump on board with the under 6.5 here. I've been talking a lot about expected goals against, and I've been talking about a lot about that as a small scale. I don't like looking at these websites and using the full NHL season, because if you use the full NHL season, it's hard to find how teams are currently in rhythm, right? You'll hear people mention full season statistics, full season advanced analytics. If you're going to use analytics, in my opinion, you have to use a small scale, because teams are in waves. Teams are in certain rhythms. They're riding a good couple weeks, a bad few weeks. Right now, Tampa Bay, in the month of December, the second fewest expected goals against in the league. Florida Panthers, the fourth fewest expected goals in the league as far as that goes. And so when I look at these numbers and some of these teams next to them, it's some of the best defensive teams out there. And so you can take that angle. Hey, are they looking ahead to the break? Or are they saying, you know what, this is our rival? Florida saying we want to beat them back-to-back games. Tampa wants to show some pride in this one. And at this point, I think the only way Tampa Bay can beat this Florida Panthers team is in low-scoring fashion. So with that, I will go ahead with the 6.5. As mentioned, we saw a 6 yesterday, and today we're seeing a 6.5. Let us know what you guys think, guys. Comment below of this video. I'm curious. This is definitely one of the bigger games of the day. It's a little bit of a back-to-back revenge game. Curious what you guys think about this one, Panthers and Lightning. And while you're there, please do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel right here on WagerTalk TV as the community continues to grow, and we grow this channel every single day. Let's keep this train on the tracks and go back to Buster. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, the Battle of Pennsylvania. What are your thoughts on this one, Buster, as Pittsburgh, well, they're off a tough game, but they've been playing a lot better lately. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right, Andrew. They have been playing a lot better lately. Going through all these games last night, which I always do, for some reason, I just found this to be an extremely, extremely tough handicap. Pittsburgh comes home off a short 2-game road trip, and they were shut out in their last start against New Jersey. Usually for me, I like betting the team that has been shut out. A lot of people say, well, no, they're terrible. If they've been shut out, they might not score again. But for myself, I tend to go for that team, especially if they're at home. I also sometimes maybe look at the over too, but depending on the situation. But I definitely like looking at the team to win. However, I'm not a big fan of this Pittsburgh Penguins team. As you said, Andrew, they have been playing better, but I'm just not really a big fan of this team. Pittsburgh in this game is only 120. So to me, that kind of tells you something. Why are they only 120? Do you think that they'd be a little bit bigger of a favorite against a Philadelphia club that's actually 1-3 in their last 4 games, and they needed a little bit of luck, I'd have to say, to beat Columbus in overtime last time, or they'd be 0-4. So for me, don't really want Philadelphia here. Can't bet Pittsburgh at all. So I'm going to pass on the side here for sure. The side's a for sure pass, and the total's not all that much farther behind. As far as it's told, they do trend slightly over, with Philadelphia going 6-3-1 to the over in the last 10 games, and Pittsburgh is 6-4 to the over in the last 10. Last year, when these two clubs played, they played 4 games, 2 overs, 2 unders. And now with the total at 6.5, as Lawrence said, you know, 6.5, that's hard to get to 7. And when you have a couple clubs here, you know, like say Pittsburgh got shut out, Philadelphia, I don't, you know, to me that I would lean to the under, but I don't really like the under here either, because both these teams can play pretty lousy defense at times. So it's really, really tough. And Pittsburgh are 3-1 to the under the last 4. But then you look at Philadelphia, they're 3-0. They've won the last 3 games have gone over the total. So, and because of that shutout, I kind of tend to sometimes go over. So, as you can understand from what I'm saying here, this is so tough. You know, we talk all the time on probably Lawrence's shows, and we talk here and all the shows you see on WagerTalk. And the saying will be, you know, if I had a gun to my head, I'd play this, right? I'd play that. Well, I tell you, I've been doing this show with Lawrence a long time, even before Andrew. And I'll tell you right now, I always usually have a side or a breakdown that to help you guys, and you guys make your choice. But in this game, probably for the first time ever on a PuckTime show, if I had a gun to my head for this pick, I'd tell them to pull the trigger. I want no part of this game. There's 12 games that are way better to bet today, guys.
All right. Well, you know what? I don't want you to pull that trigger, Buster. Stay safe, man. Don't stress yourself out. There are a ton of games on tap here in this one. I'm going to be quick with this one because I'm going to actually mention 2 plays overall in this game. The second play I mentioned will be in the best bet segment. But guys, the Pittsburgh Penguins, I'm going to continue to say this, and I can only say it so many times. If you're betting on the Pittsburgh Penguins, or if you even want to bet against them, you bet the team totals. 7 of their the last 8 wins that they've had, they have scored at least 4 goals. Their game over the weekend against Nashville, they lost and they scored 4 goals. If you're betting on this Pittsburgh Penguins team, you need to be betting the team total. And you're taking from a minus price to a plus price. And not every single team goes into this category. And I completely understand that. Minnesota's probably an example. They're a team that can win a low-scoring game, right? But as far as this team is concerned, why put yourself through the stress of having to worry about them coming back and losing some games in certain ways? I think that Pittsburgh team total over 3.5 plus 115 is a great angle tonight, especially because they're off that shutout against the Devils. As Buster mentioned, teams off a shutout and games going over the total when one team is off a shutout has been an angle I've made money on all season long. And so I'll pick the team off the shutout playing at home, team total over 3.5. 7-1 their last 8 games to the team total over 3.5. Prez, over to you for your thoughts.
Andrew, I'll be quick on this game. I want to talk about another 7 out of their last 9 games. 7 out of Philadelphia's last 9 games, they have allowed 4 or more goals. 7 out of their last 9. Tortorella must be losing his freaking mind. Anyway, not even the Fonz can help keep the puck out of the net. They just allowed Columbus 4, the Kings 7, Detroit 6. When Detroit scores 6 on you, you got serious freaking issues. Minnesota 4. Minnesota, it takes 3 games for Minnesota to normally score 4 goals. Andrew, I think the over is the play in this game. I like your team total over on Pittsburgh. I like the over on the entire game. Now let's move on. Winnipeg playing Toronto. One of your listeners, Van City, says he likes Toronto. It's a good spot for them. This game starts at 2 p.m. Eastern. And I just want to say that I like Toronto a lot in this spot. I agree with you, Van City. If you go back and you look at Craig Berube teams all the way through in the St. Louis days, when they have a bad defensive game, they allowed the New York Islanders to put 6 on them. Their next game is lights freaking out. They allowed Pittsburgh to score 4. They beat New Jersey 2-1 the next game. They allowed Detroit to score 4. They beat Buffalo 5-3 the next game. This is a great spot for the Leafs. And I like the fact that Austin Matthews is out. It brought the line all the way down. I also like the under in that game. So I just wanted to throw that out there because Van City mentioned it. And I like Van City. So yes, brother, I'm with you. I like the Leafs.
There we go. You know what? And I'm going to give you a bold take on that one as well on a plus price. Jets team total under 2.5 plus 115.
I agree. Yes.
If the Leafs bounce back, they bounce back defensively is kind of what I'm thinking. All right, guys, I just got 2 props to mention here for the prop segment, and then we'll keep the show alive. Quick mention, though, we are still on a very, very good run right now. 12-2 last 14 in the NHL. So the streak did get broken, unfortunately. I was just disappointed, but hey, we're still riding a really, really good run. Let's start things off with Braden Point from the Tampa Bay Lightning to record an assist tonight. He has 4 straight assists on the road. And yes, they're not traveling too far away, but it's the matchups. That's why I mentioned the road versus home splits. Braden Point can play against any line, and he gets almost more ice time on the road than at home because John Cooper trusts him to be out there. He's getting a ton of points right now, guys, but I can't be betting that point prop. It's just too expensive. So this plus 115 for this number is a rock solid price. I'll take Braden Point in an effort for the Tampa Bay Lightning to bounce back after losing 4-2 on Sunday to the Florida Panthers. All right, the second one I'm going to look at, yes, I'm going to give out a player prop from a Montreal Canadian player. Patrik Laine over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 135. This one will be at 3.5 at some point this season. The only reason it's not is because Montreal as a team on a large scale, they don't average that many shots. In fact, they only got 30 shots for the first time all season last week, which is very embarrassing. But Patrik Laine, his shot attempts, it's been incredible. He's got over 2.5 shots on goal in 4 straight games. In one of those games, he had 11 shot attempts. In another game in those 4, he had 8 shot attempts. So when he's going over this 2.5, he's not just going over by 1 shot. He's going over by multiple shots. And they're getting all kinds of power plays. He's kind of stolen Caulfield's spot on the power play, and he has a handful of power play goals. In fact, all 8 of his goals this season have been on the power play where he's getting all those shots. So over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 135. Guys, I do have a play up at WagerTalk today. 12-2 NHL run. Let's try and find winner number 13. All right, let's go back to the NHL for today. Buffalo and New York. I don't know what Carm was doing, Prez, making us break down the Buffalo Sabres here, but definitely 2 teams struggling, but one team struggling a hell of a lot more. What do we do at this point with the Buffalo Sabres? Because the streak is only going to be broken once. Do we just keep betting against them?
So, Andrew, I'm going off topic quick, and then I'll get back to the Buffalo Sabres. Firstly, Patrik Laine has the 2nd most power play goals in the league. He's played like 4 games. That is incredible. Good for him. I even texted you that I'm kind of cheering for the Habs a little bit. I've never said that before in my life, but this Cole Caulfield kid is just so damn cute. I want to squeeze his cheeks.
He's always happy. He's always happy.
He's always happy. And Martin St. Louis has such great hair. And Patrik Laine is so handsome. I drool. Anyway, is there Jim Poplinski called? Patrick, stop. I'm the ugliest man to ever play in the NHL. Okay. Enough.
He needs to go to Turkey and get some hair transplants. I think his hairline is looking rough. It's looking bad.
I don't want to make a statement about Finnish people. Do they have orthodontists in Finland? That is the question. Anyway, maybe they have a ban against braces. I don't know. Okay, Buffalo. How is Laviolette still a coach in the NHL? Another off-topic question. What is going on? And I kind of like the Rangers today at plus 200. That game starts in an hour and a half. And I got nothing on this Buffalo game. I got nothing on this game, dude. I would take the over if a gun was held to my head. Okay, that's all I got. And
Well, I think the Laviolette thing, Prez, is because it makes the management look bad. At this point, you can't. It's like with Boston. Boston didn't want to fire Jim Montgomery because everybody in the hockey world knows it was the management's fault because the team wasn't playing well, at least where I'm sitting. So I think if you just keep firing a new head coach every 3 years, eventually it looks bad on the GM, not the coaches, right?
Joel Quenneville is not coaching, right?
No.
He's available to coach, right?
Well, I don't know how many teams want to be the first team to bring him back, though. That's the thing, because he still had some type of involvement, and he knew about what was going on.
You're right. We're not the NFL. You're right. Only in the NFL does Kareem Hunt get another life and Deshaun piece of shit Watson.
Right.
Good point,
Buster.
Andrew.
We got to go to Buster. Buster. You didn't have much in the last game. You got to have something for us for this one. What do you have?
Yeah, I actually do, Andrew. Again, the Sabres club, talking about getting rid of coaches. I know Ruff is the big, everybody loves Ruff in Buffalo, that's for sure. Loved him when I was younger, when he played for the team. But my God, you've lost 13 straight games. And now they play in an Islanders club that they've already lost to twice this season already. So, and the Islanders come home feeling pretty good about themselves. They beat the hated Leafs 6-3 on Saturday. So even with Buffalo losing 13 games, I don't know if I'm not betting the Islanders at 155, 160. That's for sure. The two games they played, it was 4-3 and 3-0. Buffalo played okay. Buffalo did play all right on the weekend. They still lost 3-1 to Boston. But to me, if anything, maybe tonight is the night. You know, you're saying it's only going to break the streak once. And maybe you put a little pizza money on Buffalo. I don't know. I truthfully, though, I want no part of this side on this. For me, though, I do like the over. Prez mentioned that he'll lean to the over. I actually will be making a bet on the over. Buffalo are 7-3 to the over 5.5 the last 10, and the Islanders are 6-4 to the over 5.5 the last 10. Now, as I said, one game's gone under, one game's gone over here, but not sure how long Ruff's going to let them play this. Like they play a little bit more defensively than they used to, but I mean, they still do allow a lot of chances. Buffalo does. That last game, they can't win either way. That's the problem for Buffalo. That last game, they played pretty defensive game. They played one of their best. They still lost 3-1. So to me, Buffalo was winning games last year if they open it up. They've got some good young talent there that can put the puck in the net. And to me, I think that they need to do that. I think they need to play a little bit more open up, which, mind you, it's going to allow the Islanders to get a bunch of shots and goals themselves. So that's why I really like it over here, because it is that last day before the 3-day Xmas break, right? So, you know, how much, I mentioned it earlier, how much defense are these guys going to play? Not sure. But one of the main reasons I even like this over, it's for 5.5. So we've talked about this all the time. It's easy to get to 5 and to get up to 6 in this NHL with the goaltenders being pulled and all. But both teams are horrific, and I mean horrific, on the penalty kill. Buffalo's number 24th in the NHL. You know where the Islanders are? They're dead last. So you might see some power play goals. You might see Buffalo finally win a game today, but we're going to take the over 5.5, guys.
I like it, Buster. And that's the thing, is everybody wants to be that guy that can say, I called it when Buffalo was going to win their first game, right? Like, this is the one that's going to happen.
I'm not calling it, but I got a feeling that it might be today.
You don't want to go on record. You don't want to go on record.
Call it every day. Call it every single day.
No, but that's the thing. Everybody gets one. Everybody gets one. You only get one each. That's the thing. You only get to do it once. But would you guys believe me if I told you the Islanders have the second best over record in the NHL right now? Second best in the whole league. And it's like you say, Buster, because the number they're getting, right, for the totals. The Columbus Blue Jackets, the New York Islanders, and the Buffalo Sabres. Those three teams are the three highest over teams currently in the league. So I'm going to play the same angle as Buster. Do I want to play on the Buffalo Sabres to win? No, I don't. Do I trust them with any sort of lead? No, I certainly don't. But this Islanders team as well, it's almost like they've decided we're going to have to play faster. And lately we've kind of seen that out of them. I just don't think they can win low-scoring games. They don't have the talent to do it. They might have the goaltending to do that, but when I look at the 13-2 overrun, they've gone over 59% of their games. This, to me, is going to be an absolute goal fest. I see no issue in betting the over in this game. And also penalties. Both these teams are actually taking a decent amount of penalties this year. The Islanders used to be a very disciplined team, but this year they haven't really been that disciplined, giving up all kinds of penalties, and hopefully the Sabres can take advantage of it and help us get over the total. As I always say, though, guys, one team has to get to 4 for us to get here, right? So the team total angle is there. Which team do you want to pick for your team total? Do you want to go ahead and take Buffalo, or do you stick with the Islanders? Because one team has to get to 4 to get over this total. Maybe it could be worth a shot. It'd be kind of a nice way to end off, go into the break, where like Buster said, with Buffalo winning. And it's a good thing they had a decent start to their season, because if not, they would be really, really bad at this point right now. But yeah, for me, I'm going to just go ahead and take the over in this game. Prez, any more thoughts on this game? And if not, head right into your best bet, man.
No more thoughts, my brother. I'm going to give you my best bet, and also I'm going to sign off afterwards. I've got a show starting in 28 minutes. Wager Talk today. Make sure to join us. My best bet on the show is the under in the St. Louis and Detroit game. So take a look at that. It's my second favorite play on the card. My first favorite play is a client play. It's up right now. As I said, listen, I'm coming off of a horrible 10-day stretch, but I won Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm on a 6-0 and 8-1 college basketball run. I got 2 up tonight. I'm on a 5-1 NHL run. I got 1 up tonight. I also got 2 NBA bets, so I got a 5-pack of plays going tonight. I do like the team total over in the Green Bay Packer game. Team total over for Green Bay in that game as well. So there's another bet for you guys. And I just want to say, Andrew, that 2.38 billion people are going to celebrate Christmas on Wednesday. I'd like to give them all a shout out. 2,025 years ago, Jesus Shlomo Christenberg, the world's most famous Jew, was born. It is greatly appreciated that so many people are going to be celebrating my cousin's birth. Lots of love to all of you guys. Be well, be with your family, best wishes, and thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for celebrating the birth of Jesus Shlomo Christenberg.
All right. All the best, Prez. Good luck tonight. And guys, don't miss Wager Talk today, coming up in a half an hour's time. Buster, good luck beating that outro, but I'm curious, your best bet for today, brother. How are you? What do you have for us?
Yeah, you know what? I won't be able to beat that going out, but I will send, I will send my best regards to everyone. Yeah, we still have that really good deal at WagerTalk.com. If you buy the full all access for January, you will get the rest of December for free. I know we're getting down to the end of December, only so many days left, but there still is college football, lots of bowl games, lots of the playoff games. Also, NHL start back up on Friday for 4 or 5 days there. So that's a great deal. Grab all those plays and head on over to WagerTalk.com. to do that. And when you're there, we have a 4% NHL best bet loaded for tonight on the site. Not a game that obviously that we talked about. Really liked this play. Kind of stood out for me tonight. So I put it up on the site as a best bet. So go over to the site and check that out. My show play for today will be the Boston Bruins minus 130 over the Washington Capitals. Now, both these clubs have been playing really good hockey, and both are 7-3 the last 10 games. However, this is not the best of a spot for Washington. They're on a back-to-back here, and it's their third game in 4 nights, an angle that we use a lot. And they had a really tough game against Los Angeles yesterday. So I think that comes into play here. Boston has been really good at home of late, too. They've won 4 in a row. And this Capital team is good. I've been watching them a lot lately, wondering why they don't regress, because they're a very good club. But if you are going to get this Capitals club, you might not get them at home. But on the road, they've lost their last 2. And the third game, the last 3 games, that third game, they had to go to overtime to beat Columbus. So they may be regressing a little bit on the road. Definitely not at home. They look great at home. But we will play Boston minus 130 to beat Washington to go into that Christmas break. As you said, Andrew, can't beat what Lawrence, his ending there. But what I would like to do is to wish, no matter what you celebrate or how you celebrate this holiday season, please be safe. That's the most important thing. Don't do a whole bunch of crazy stuff like we tend to do when we're breaking the seasons. Have fun families, and of course, of luck with all night in hockey. Be good hockey. I think there's a couple of course, NFL tonight, a couple college football games going on. And I just want to wish everyone have a great holiday season. And also, Andrew, make sure you wish your father and your mother and everybody in your family all the best from Don Buster.
Thank you very much, Buster. You as well. You and your family, you and your better half over there in Mexico. Hope you have a great, great holiday season. Merry Christmas. And I like that sentiment you said, guys. Get an Uber, get a taxi. Do not step in a car after you have had some adult beverages, we'll say. But I know you guys don't want to hear us lecturing you, but it does matter. Let's get to the picks, though. My best bet for the show is going to be the over 1.5 in the first period. And we're going to go with the Pittsburgh and Philadelphia game. Guys, on this show, with best bets recently, we have been crushing this angle, picking certain spots when teams are off a game where they got shut out and bouncing back with goals. We hit this angle last week on Friday as our best bet. Dallas Stars, New York Rangers, 2-1 after the first period. Let's get the same result. Over 1.5, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh will get urgency and desperation right away from these two teams. It's a 12-2 NHL run for me, guys. It's looking like I might have a 5% play tonight. I'm waiting for some goaltender confirmation, but it might be a big night for me in the NHL. But as these two gentlemen said, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, wishing you guys all a great time with your friends and loved ones. Be safe, and we'll see you next time right here on PuckTime.